Hey, I think we are live now. Just so please, want everybody to mute. Um, like I said, when the time for questions, we'll definitely take questions. Okay, so I'm going to start off with if you are having problem with your accounts, if you are having problem with your accounts, maybe you can't log in. I know some people they provided them accounts. We can take a look at it. Please, if you are having problem with your accounts, you can just wave. If you have problem with your account have been provided for you, and you have problem of logging in, then you can just wave anyone. Otherwise, we can just move ahead. All right. So if you don't have any problem with your account, if you're able to, then you'll be able to go with me, right? So our the last time I said we should be able to create an account. Now, I also want to ask, so the second thing would be how many of you created users accounts? If you have access to your account, your developer accounts, you're able to create the account. So if you're able to create the accounts, can you just give me in on the chat menu, just say I was able to create, I was able to create, I was able to create. If you're able to create the account, give me on the chat menu, I was able to create. Okay. Joy said I was able to create because those are the assignments. I was able to create. Yes, I created the accounts. Okay. Okay, I was able to create. Okay. Okay. So at least have some witness I was able to create. So which means they're following up with me. So because the beauty of the whole thing is you should be able to create accounts. This is more of an engineering work. It's something that if you are in interview, you should be able to say, "Oh, I created an account." They will ask me to create an account, so I was able to create an account, give password, whatever it is. You should be able to create an account. So I just want us to be sure that you're able to create an account and you are not having a problem with your account. This is my first class. I'm here to create an account. Okay, good. As long as you have just follow us. You meet with the program manager. If it's your first class, because we already told some of us to go and get an account, develop an account, at least for us to be able to work with. I don't want to say by there. A lot of people come in here, and then by the time we are done, and it looks as if you guys cannot actually do what you're doing, because this actually can fetch you a job right away. So, and of course, it's also a prerequisite to the intermediate class, which will be coming up in February, which means that you're expected to be able to know what to do, and that is more of a highly professional course coming up. So, but at least on the ground, on the very basis, you should be able to, create an account. All right. So last week we talked about different different accounts. Just 1 minute. I think I'm going to, yes, we talked about different um, different cloud environments. And then I'm thinking it's if we have a quiz, or maybe we'll do the quiz tomorrow together. So we'll have the quiz tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll have the quiz. Oh, I think I'm not sure. Maybe we'll have a pool whether we should still have the class tomorrow or not. Um, I don't know if we have that in, yeah, yes, because I felt that okay, there's AFCON, but it also depends on if the time they are playing the AFCON tomorrow. Because I know there's an AFCON, going on in Africa, and well, we can skip it next. We can skip tomorrow for next this thing, right? So we can speak tomorrow for next week. So let's see how that goes. All right. So that being said, I will determine that, but at least, yes, I know Nigeria is not playing finance. It's not just about Nigeria. So I don't know any other African country who are also playing. So I think they just finished the top place. So, but I just want to make sure that I give that respect to, I mean, majority of us in Africa, and whether they're playing final or not. I mean, some of them may want to watch. But again, maybe the manager or the program manager will do a pool. If you want to watch, if you don't want to watch, you let me know. If I'm very much ready, I'm not. So yes, so somebody said let's have a pool. So the program manager would put a pool there. If we want us to have a class tomorrow, we can have a class tomorrow, because the faster we can do that. All right. Thanks so much. So, okay, so let's quickly do today. So again, if you are having tomorrow, then be prepared. And then we can also have that, if you are going to have that, class tomorrow, be prepared to have a quiz tomorrow too as well. And a quiz will be posted, and then we'll all give our answers to the quiz, and including today's class as well. So I'm going to quickly share my screen. And then I will do the way it is. I will first of all explain that, then we'll go into practical. So I believe everybody has doesn't have a problem with the account, and then nobody's asking saying they have a problem with the account. So that's a good news. All right. So let's quickly go to the classroom proper. So for this is week 1, day 2. Basically, we have Saturday, Sunday. So that's why you see like this look like a week 2, but I think that is week 1, day 2, because we started the class last week Sunday. So I'm going to deny that request for this thing, because I'm already, I'm already putting this thing on the YouTube, where people can watch the replay of this. So you can always get that copy. All right. So now, we are going to be looking into, several terminologies, which will help you. Those terminologies will help you to understand some of the things we're going to be taking a look at. So one of the things we are going to be looking at is the directories. And then we'll also be looking at what is identity management system. So basically, yes, directories, then one is identities, hybrid integration, Microsoft tenants. I talked about it briefly last week when I talked about subscription. And then we talk about identity models, user types, managing identity, tenant and license. So we're going to talk about all that. So let's start with the directory. I'm sure you're seeing my screen. Now, we have, when we talk about directory, it's like in an organization, when you get to a place, let's say, I'm sure a lot of you have been to a very big office where you say different floors. They will say maybe they will have different, how do you can navigate yourself within the whole entire floor. They will say, oh, company so is in first floor, company B is another first floor, which means there is a directory. Again, in a place where you have thousands of workers, yeah, you should be able to say that, oh, our CEO is in the 14th floor, this is in the 12th floor, HR is in this, meaning there have to be a directory. Now, in this case, we have something called identity management system. Identity management system is actually what house everybody together. So imagine if you have almost about 1,000 people in an organization. How do you identify them? So you have to make sure you give each person a unique identity, maybe their ID card, their this and this and then. And the same way too. One of the most important parts is the identity management system, which means before we can even start talking about every form of access, we have to understand that the person that have to come in first must have an identity. So, and that's what we're going to talk about. Now, there's something called Active Directory, and so it's a database. Let me put it that way. is a program developed by Microsoft. And then that program runs on a server, Windows servers and all that. And that's why we will call it majorly an on-premise server. And basically what that program does is to keep the directory of everybody within the organization. Now, we can talk about more complex things about it later on. But just see it as a fact that this on-premise server, Active Directory, keeps the identity of everybody within the organization. Now, we also know that what if you don't want to keep a server? You want to just have something separate. Let's say you're just few companies, you don't want to have, these days now we want to have a cloud offering, just don't want, you want everything to be on the cloud. Then you want to have something like Entra ID, formerly call it Azure AD. So that means you want everything to be on the cloud. Again, it's also identity management system. The only thing is that in this case, everything is in the cloud. Do you understand now? So we have one part which is completely on premises, which every user connects to before they get any form of access. And then you have another one too. Everybody connects with it. It's only that this identity system is in the cloud. So that's two different identity systems. Now, also, at some point, somebody can decide to say, you know what, I didn't just want to have, I want to have both of them. If you want to have both of them, that's what we call an hybrid identity. We'll talk about that too also in a minute. Now, so look at this. So we have on premises, Active Directory, we have cloud. Now, for this sake of this course, we'll be looking into a cloud only identity. And for those who are going to be going into a higher class, we'll be talking more about the hybrid environment. Now we have, when you talk about the identity, what are the things inside this identity? Now, one of the first things that we'll be seeing in the identity is the user. Now, the identity contains some of this schema. Now, it holds user. You can have a user in identity, just like you have individual name, personal things about that particular user. Then you also see that you can also have group, just like you have departments, you have this in an organization. You can group those users in this. Then you can also have device. So let's say you want to identify each of these users by their devices, and all that you can also have the same too. Then also, some of these users or some devices or some group may also want to have access to an application. Maybe they want to have access to Microsoft Word, they want to have access to Excel, whatever it is, or even a bigger application that runs without Microsoft. Then what it means is that this user can be in a group, can have access to device, and at the same time can also have access to an application. So the identity that we talk about, whether it's going to be a online identity like a cloud environment, or you want to be an on-premise environment like Active Directory, they all have this. It's common to all of them. Now, the other one I want to share now is this is a little bit bigger from this your understanding, but I'm just going to explain it a little bit brief. So it's not going to be, don't be scared about the diagram. It's just one of those things. Now, you can see here, this is where we call something called hybrid integration. Like if you want to have both cloud and also the on-premise environment together. Some company feels that we want to have being control. Two of them have advantage. But we'll talk not now. But I just want to give you an example. So you could see here, we have an on-premises server who is connecting with a cloud environment. So at the end of the day, you just want to make sure that you have unified identity. So if I put a user in this on-premises, it will be synced. The same identity will be synced to cloud, meaning that it will be the same. So whatever you do here will also be, will be witnessed here. And then that's what we call hybrid integration. And that can be done through what we call Entra ID Connects, by Entra ID Connects. So, and then of course I explain what Entra ID Connect means. So it makes you to have an identity in both on-premises and cloud, usually sync from user from on-premises to the cloud. Sometimes it could be sync back, but that's on a different scale of direction. Call it write back, but that's a different. I just wanted to focus on just a simple task here. And then you could also see the way it's done here, which means it could be both ways. It could be sync both ways. But the focus is that it's just going to be just one identity, just one user, who is going to be syncing either this way directly or this way directly. So that's the possibility that you can have in the course of this engineering work. Now, Microsoft tenants. We talked when we were talking about different types of subscriptions and all that. I mentioned that it's just like when you are trying to buy some portion. Now we are in the cloud environment now. So in this cloud environment, we're looking at different things. You remember we talked about SaaS, PaaS, we talked about IaaS. Now we're going to be talking more about SaaS because that's where the beginning of our work starts from. And then, of course, the Microsoft tenant is an M365 subscription containing Microsoft Cloud Directory and services. So SaaS. And then we'll talk about different types of tenants. You could have what we call you could have a work environment tenant. So that environment could be either single or multi-tenant. What do I mean by that? Microsoft is saying that you can your own company can buy a small portion of where you can have all your staff, everything. So a small portion, which we are going to demonstrate now. A small portion, just give us a small portion, and that small portion is what you are going to be. Now, when I was showing you, quick one, when I was showing you something like this, you will see that my own ID, the one I use to sign in, is just a small portion. Let me just show you something. You will see that, can you see my name here? This is my name. Now, this is my own tenant. This is my own small portion, which is 0st5st.onmicrosoft.com. It's unique to only me. That's my tenant. Now, any other person who wants to have a developer account can have a different ID, but this one belongs to me. It belongs to my organization, right? If I registered, and that's what I'm going to see, and that's become my own tenant. It's just like when you go and say you want to rent, you have a big house and it's a public. You said, oh, I need a room, I need 2 rooms, and then they will give you the key for those 2 rooms. You have an agreement, and then you are the only one who is going to be there. So whatever you do on that, nobody cares about it. And that is what we are talking about. Now we are in a different tenant, like a different environment, which it is unique to us, right? And that's exactly what's going on here. So just for you to have the understanding. So in this kind of environment, we call it a single tenant. What if this my organization has all that tenants? Maybe they have other subsidiaries and all that, and they want to have multiple. So you can bring all of them together and you call those multi-tenants. Now there's another one called customer identity management system. So that one, it's majorly for customer. They call it B2C, right? We'll probably talk about that too later on. So that one is majorly for users. Let's say for the case of we have organizations. Somebody is making noise there. We have an organization. We have organization that maybe you want like somebody like Facebook, for instance. Somebody like Facebook. Facebook has millions of users. Now, Facebook will have its own work tenant with the staff. But because several people are using Facebook application, what would they do? They will allow the customer side where people can log in. In fact, sometimes we ask you log in with your phone number, either with your phone number or with your email ID. Some of them we even said if you have an account with Google before, you can log in with that same account. So that becomes identity management. But that is a more complex part. But I'm just trying to let you know that you can have different tenant environments. Now the Office 365 model, which I've explained extensively, that whatever we are doing right now is a cloud-only environment. And then we have hybrid. User account are synchronized from on-premises, to which I already explained. And then we also have the fact that users are created, managed, and stored exclusively in Microsoft DC. That is a cloud-only environment, meaning that everything is going to be on the cloud. But if it is a hybrid environment, it means that users are created maybe on the AD, Active Directory domain, and then they are synced to Entra ID, formerly Azure AD. It's allowed a single set of credentials from both ends. So it means it's still going to be that same user, right? And then on that. So I just need to make understanding to this, because you need your knowledge of this, right? It's not practical, but you need that knowledge. So the same way too, synchronize identity types within the hybrid model. So within that same hybrid model, we have two major types. We have a synchronized identity, which the basic one, and it uses what we call the password hash, right? Or password pass-through authentication. So that's going to be more complex, to discuss later on. But just have the knowledge of this. Then, of course, what we call the second one is a federated identity. This is when you have you have an external authentication provider like Okta, like some other this thing. You know that yes, you have your account is being synced from one from premises to another, to a cloud environment, and then you now also have something else, a federated, that will be in the middle of both of them. Sometimes it could be ADFS, sometimes it could be Okta, it could be external, whatever it is, identity provider you want to. So you don't, basically what they're trying to do is that you don't want, even though you know that the identity is in AD and there is going to be synced to a cloud environment, but yet you want the identity. Anytime identity want to have access, you want that identity, access to be determined by another. Listen, that makes it three, another entity entirely. So it could be a cloud entity, it could be an what's it called? It could be an on-premise identity, but that's also a complex part that we might want to talk about later on. But for knowledge sake, I need to just introduce you, for a start. Now, the last part, I mean, it's not really the last part. The other part I'm going to talk about is the so the difference between what I've just explained, cloud only, so single entity, synchronized, and then the architecture for the federated identity is what you just look at it. You can see the Windows sync directly synchronizing to on-premises now have another thing called federation, so which is separate from whatever action that is going in to sync. Yes, they are syncing, but something is going to be in the middle that will determine the authentication. We talked about this briefly. Okay, so this one again, just in case for you to have the knowledge on this. So user types, you're going to be having different user type. One of those, it will be the members who are part of your organization. We call it member. Some full-time and all that. Then we also have something called guest account. So you can create a guest account. You can invite that guest account to your tenants. We'll be talking about that also today. And then again, we'll be doing called anonymous user, which is the same thing to guest account, but it's going to be limited in collaboration. We have external identities who are managed outside of your domain. That's in most cases when you have a multiple tenants. That's when you have external identity, which means that, let's say company A and company B match together, and then you want to be able to manage the external identity in another company. That's a multi-tenant environment, and at the same time, you can manage this external identity within it. So just for you to have understanding of that. So again, we're coming back to earlier discussions about users, device, groups, and then applications or service principals, and as the case may be. So it's just the same thing that we discussed there. So Microsoft tenants, I believe by now, for those who now, everybody now has an account, and then you know what licenses, we can go to work. I'm going to, at this point, before I go into classwork, so we're going to, before we go to classwork, any question to start with? Any question? Any question before I go to classwork? All right, so I'm going to go to classwork now. So we have, so the classwork here is number one, how can you assign license? Now, in the case where I say, because you don't have your own personal tenants, so because we are all sharing licenses here and there. Now, assign licenses, so you be able to know how to assign license. So, and then two is that assign roles to at least 5 users. So that one I asked you to create 5 users. Remember, I say create 5 users, and then that 5 users, you can give them your own unique name, that will be unique to yourself. And then later on, we'll clean all those 5 users, but assign roles to 5 users. We are going to be assigning roles. We are going to create share mailbox. We are going to create share mailbox because we all have access to creating share mailbox now with the access given to you. Practice with mailbox delegation, practice with email sending, create groups, and create a resource mailbox. Quick one. We are going to do all that, and then you're going to do a lot of assignment before tomorrow, so you got to be prepared. Now, let's start with assigning license. That's why I said it's not something you can do without just listening. You have to make sure that you'll be able to do it yourself. Now, I've asked you that what we're going to do. You can see that we have all our you see, I see this one saying this one, but just create an account, assign license, though it's not licensed, right? You see all our T accounts, they are there, right? So what we can do, just to give us a leverage. Now, I'm going to do one because we still have more licenses there. So let's just say I want to look at this now. I'm going to click on somebody created this one. So let's use this person's account for example. So let's okay. This one was unblocked, was blocked. I'm not sure it's one of the person that's created. Okay, let's look at this person. This person created accounts. Somebody, okay, I see somebody creates user 1, user 2, user 2. That's okay. Let me use one of the what I user 2. So this is user 2 that is created by someone. Somebody created user 2. So one of the things we wanted to do for user 2 is that if you go to the license blade, of course, I got here is admin.microsoft.com. You all have access for those who have access already. When you go to here, you will see under license blade, you will see that oh, I'm even out of license. Can you imagine? Everybody has finished using my license. So I don't want you guys to finish using my license. So let's go and release some licenses. I'm going to okay, I'm going to take this one out. So that I can have one license to use. Then I can actually take off some licenses out too from some of these my T accounts. They are test accounts, as long as we are not using it. So these are T accounts. So individual users, you don't need license. Like I said, you can always use any of these accounts to operate, to do whatever you want to do. But because of practice, I will allow that immediately you remove one account from any of these test accounts, make sure you return back the license, right? So that would be the thing. So so I think this person, I don't know who, maybe this person created an account and they license it. And then I think this one is not a T account. This one didn't license its own. That's fine. This one also create an account and license it. So I'm seeing now people are licensing accounts. This was also create an account and license. So we can release one of those ones that people created account and license. And I understand. That's why I said if you want to create, instead of creating more, yes, you can release the account, this in there, and you use this one, sign into any of these one that have been created before with the password given to you. You will still be able to practice with whatever you were. So but just for us to know that we can how to license and how to unlicense. So let's use this one to unlicense, for instance. So immediately you go to the license blade, you will see that the license on this one is already there, right? Now, if you go to under this one, you will see that a mailbox will be provided. You see a mailbox already provided already. And if you see under this one, OneDrive 2 will be provided. Okay, this one is just after the person user accesses OneDrive. So, but the mailbox is already provided based on the license, right? But if you immediately remove it, what will happen? The mailbox will go. So that's one thing. So I'll just save this one. I'll save the changes. And then once I save the changes, the license will be released for me, right? Yes, so the license will be released for me. And then I'm going to let me release this license as well. Because the parties account for every one of us. So I would also, I ask you to create account, but don't license them. So I'll save this one too. So but I'm not saying you can't. You just make sure, even if you're going to use a license, after that, make sure you release the license so that other people can use it. We can use it for practice for as once we can. Now we have so we have this this also as well. So I'm releasing the license now. So now that I've released it, after some time, the emails on that one will go. So we were using, I think, user 2 here, if I'm correct. Now that I need user 2, because now the license should be ready, available now. You see, I released 3 license. And in these 3 license, this is where I'm going. In these 3 license, if you see the stack, immediately I put this one there. The stack here has about 76. I believe you can see. Sorry. So if you see down here, you see about 76. For one license, you have about 76 items. You can further remove some of them, but they come in stack. That's E5 or something that Microsoft is providing. Everything comes together with it. So you could see. So, and then the mailbox comes with it, Teams comes with it, a whole lot of it comes with it, right? So you can just save it. So when I save it, so it becomes saved. So that's one. I already told you how to create an account. So you should be able to know how to create an account. Very simple. You just go into hard user, from hard user, let's say user user 1 or this, and it comes in here, and then you can say user 1, 2, or whatever it is you want to put in there. It takes you to, okay, say somebody is already using, I'm now saying user 2 or 3. Okay, so user 2 or somebody is already using, let's say user 100. So, and then you go in there, and then this is where they will now allow licenses. So what I said is just create that user without license, and that's fine. and then it's just for practice. But when it comes to your emails, you can use any of the T accounts, right? So it's easy to just create users as one. And then also you can provide license, roles. So the next thing they are going to do, we are going to provide roles for that users. Now, I don't know the privilege you guys have. You may have a different level of role access to give. I understand. But I'm just saying that you can actually provide roles here when you are creating the account, depending on the privilege asset that you have. You don't need to have, you don't need to see the kind of one I have. And because I have a super admin, then I can provide access, to this particular user account. But whatever you have, just provide a role, for this user account. Now, so the role is just what the users are going to do. I'm not going to create this account. I was just showing how to create an account. So how to create an account, how to license an account. So this access that I just licensed now, after some few minutes, this particular user will now have mailbox. Mailbox. So this particular user, when you go back to the where the mail is, then after some time, you will now have mailbox. Now you now have mailbox. Now you didn't have that before, and now it's now licensed. So it means that this mailbox now, you can send email to this user from anywhere, and people can receive email, can also accept emails. Now, any of those ones that we already licensed, they can actually receive mailbox. They can also send. So that's pay attention very well. So that's on that. I'm also going to release that user too as well. Now, assigning roles. You can assign roles in different place. Apart from the one place I've shown you is just now this is user 2. And then user 2, I will go and check. On this place, I can check what is it called? Admin roles. I can pick on this one to give me if I need this particular user to have higher, more privileges or not. Like I said, if I wanted to have admin role, it will give me, different access I want to give this person. And then if you can show by category, there are other assets I can give this person. So let's just say I want to give this person AI admin and then maybe global read. Then I could just save changes and then I already give it up admin. Now the person can be able to do by logging with this user, can be able to do anything that has to do with AI work or the global to be able to see everything that's within the organization. So I'm just going to undo that. So I've not saved. I don't know what have I saved. It's okay. So we have that as it is. Now, so that is the way to assign roles. Now, these are just then how to create share mailbox. Now, this one you can do as long as you can. How do you create share mailbox? Share mailbox. Now, before I go there, I think I said I wanted to show you other place where you can actually assign roles. Now, if you go to under your admin, you see what we call, we are on this is under admin center, under identity. You can come into under identity. The under identity, you can have users. You can have, this is where your Entra ID. Now, I was explaining the other time, I said your Entra ID. This is where the Entra ID is. Your Entra ID. Remember, I was mentioning Entra ID. This is where your directory is. The other one is just your admin center. You could see Microsoft M365 admin, who combines all these admin centers, all the admin centers. But immediately you come into this one focus majorly. Remember we talk about users, we talk about group, we talk about devices, we talk about application, right? Now, this one, this is what we are looking for. And then we'll come over here. It gives you enough properties. so many things about this particular user that even the admin center will not give you. It will tell you about when this user was able to log in, the role management. You could see when I provided role management, all the logs for these particular users. This is very, very important because they can say, oh, when was this user created? When was this and this and this? And you should be able to have the information on the identity part. And then if you come over here, they will tell you that this user was created January 3 a.m. I don't know whether I think it's maybe it's a registered US time. Just look at it, that this somebody was created by this person, never been signed in, one license, two admin roles, one membership group. Give you more information about this user. Then not only that, it also give you the sign-in. If user this person has been signing, has been used to sign in before, no, we only created it. And then last name, this, then all the properties that this user has, you could see. Then the logs, the signing logs, then other things that you can think you can, assign roles. So this is where the assign role, the one I just gave is, so you can add more assignment. Now this one is more granular because there's something called this one maybe usually for your class. But this one is an active assignment. There's no expired assignment. Eligible assignment is called, we use a PIM, but we'll talk about that on the advanced or in the other class, next class that we're going to have, which is more advanced class, because these are more advanced in terms of what we're going to use. So so you see this particular user has this group, and things like that. So somebody has been working on this one, which is a good one. So whatever application related to this user to list it, whatever license user to use to list it, whatever devices that this user assigned with to list it. So there's so many things about it. So he has more details, basically. So that's why I remember that I needed to show you guys this. Now let's go to share mailbox. Now you will see here under the admin center, coming to the admin center, sorry, under the admin center, on top here, you will see that there are going to be share mailbox here. We have deleted group, we have policies, we have artists and groups, we have guest users, we have contacts. Yeah, yes, I think I also need to talk about this briefly because I talk about different types of users. Remember, deleted user, just by the name, it just means users that was created and at some point and be deleted. So right now, there's no user that have been created and been deleted within 30 days. We have guest users. Do we have guest user? Yes. So this was tested to show that we have a guest user. So inviting somebody as a guest. So you could also, part of your work too, would be that try and create a guest user. Try to invite yourself. Try to say when to try to invite yourself by trying to create an account. Invite yourself. So meaning that use your personal email, you can use your personal email. So a guest user will mean like your name, your address. This address will be an external account user, and your first name and your person send a message. The person will receive it and automatically join this. Now, I want to show you something. You will see that the identity will be different from normal identity. You could see that it's showing EXT here. And even the way he asks my name, my email, you see, he put a underscore here because there's something that is going to be acting as a directory for it already. Even though if you check this account, you will see my information. Of course, there's no license. You will see my information on this. Everything about that was filled in there will be there at the point of registration. So you can create as many guest accounts, just for you to practice. So mostly the reason why we do guest account is mostly if you are working for an organization and they said, oh, we have an external auditor. This external auditor, we need to have access to our, remember this person doesn't have a mailbox, or they doesn't have any asset to your organization. So what do? You try to invite the asset. Excuse me. You try to invite them as a guest user, and then you provide them access to the document or whatever you have there. They will still be able to have access to it, right? Even though they don't have, if you compare to these people who have access to this, you will see that their own ID is different. You can see the ID. You can see the ID. It doesn't have that hash external. So you'll be able to know that this person is not an external. All these ones are not external accounts. But of course, we can come over here. You can see a guest account. So you could create one guest account. So you practice with it. Now, contact is just majorly if for the cost of you sending emails. I'm sure you must have had a situation whereby, let's say you are dealing with some vendors. We talked about something last week when we said you store the phone numbers of your people on whether the person is dealing with you. Yes, you put in phone number of somebody on your what's it called? On your phone, and you put it, oh, yeah, this person's a yam seller or this seller, and things like that. So basically, what you're trying to do is to make sure that anytime you want to call that person, you remember. The same thing also for contact. Now, this person is not in this organization. However, you can send email. So when you are trying to open the directory, or when you are trying to send email, you just type this person's name. The name of that person will come up, even though this person is not in your organization, but it's just a contact so that you can be able to reach out that person. That will contact. So it's different from a guest account that need access. So this one is just to communicate, and then this one is just to provide access to somebody with. That's why it's saying external. This one will provide access. This person will register, will receive the invitation, and then the person will be able to have access to whatever you are provided. So we're going to get there, but at least just have it at the back of your mind on this one. So now, another one is we'll cover about active groups. We'll be talking about different groups later on, but we'll just take a look at, we have different groups. We have different groups. I think maybe tomorrow we are talking about groups. Do I have it under my yes, okay, we talk about create groups. Yeah, we'll talk about create groups, briefly. Now, we're also going to create groups. So you could imagine, I can take that now. So we have, before I go to share me box, because you're going to practice with share me box, you're going to practice with the groups. And then, so you take a look at what is on this board. You talk about distribute lists. Now, you talk about distro lists, talk about security groups, and then you talk about teams and M365 groups. Now, what is the difference between these three? You need to be very careful. Now, remember that we are under Admin Center. So this Admin Center combines different workloads, combine Exchange, SharePoint, Teams, Power Platform, and then Microsoft Purview, Microsoft Intune. Now, all these workloads, they use some of these groups. And that's why you could see that all of them appear here. And even when you see this one, for instance, this one says Teams and M365 group, which means that there's something that has to do with Teams here. And then if you look at it here, you also said you can add a team, and also you can have M365 group, which means that for team, this is going to be useful for teams, and this one is majorly for entire M365 for collaboration. So basically, M365 group is majorly for collaboration, for SharePoint and all that. We're going to get into that. Now we're going to have so that is for team, and this is for collaboration. If you come to distribution list is mainly for distributing. What is it distributing? Distributing for emails. Let's say, for instance, I want to send email to 10 people. What am I going to do? I'll go to my mail, whatever it is. I will say something like this, and I will say, oh, I want to send email to so person. I'll say, oh, I will say this, and I'll copy. But if I want to send to 200 people, am I going to do the same thing? No. So basically what you're trying to do here is that you create one distro list and you list all the members. Say you have this one has about 4 members, for instance. So if I'm going to send email, I'll just send email to just this ID. Once I send email to this ID, how many people will receive it? Every member here will receive it. So if I have 1,000 members here, if I send email to this one, how many people will receive it? 1,000 members will receive it. So it doesn't make sure. So it only distributes. So you can create a distribution list as well. Part of your your assignment too is to create maybe 1 or 2 distribution lists and try to add members to it. Now, so that's another thing. Now you could say that I could be able to add external members to it. I could be able to add internal members to it. Those will have mailbox address. Now, the security group is quite different. Now, the security group majorly is to provide access. What do I mean by that? Now, you have, let's say I want to provide access to, just like I'm distributing emails. Let's say I want to have access, I want to provide about 10 people license, about 20 people license. What do? I can just quickly say, you know what? Instead of me providing one by one, create a security group. And with a security group that you create, what do? You add them as member. So if I now had license to this security group, what happens? This is security group, right? For instance, if I had license to it, can you see now? There's a license blade. If I had just a license to this security group, and then you have 2 members available. So just say I add license to this. If I decided to add members to this, assuming we have 10 available license, and then I already saved this. Once I add all these members to this security group, what do you think will happen? They will just take all the license. So security groups, if I have 25 licenses available and I under this one and I put 20 members to it, what do you think will happen? All of them will receive, all the members I put here will receive license direct immediately because I use it to provide access. So it does not distribute emails, but it provides access. But there's also something called email enabled security group. You could say that this is ordinary security group and this is email enabled security group. So that one, we have emails that you can see. So you can create a security group, but this one will both distribute email and also provide license or provide access or privileges. So if I'm going to create this now, you just give me setting. It's not going to give me a place where I'm going to put email because it's just ordinary security group, right? Now, let me go back. But if I'm going to create this one and I go, it's going to tell me when I'm going to put email. Do you see there? It tells me you have to put email there because this is not just only security group, it's email security group. Does that make sense? So I just want you to have that differences on that. I mean, those are elementary. Of course, we have so many things we are going to be getting into. And so try and work on this. So part of your assignment is to create contacts, create guest accounts, create 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 distribution list, create what's it called? Create security group, maybe 1111 for each person. And then then if you like, you can also create this one too. Nobody's going to penalize you. It's a work environment. I mean, it's a developer environment. So nobody, just don't delete the ones you see there. Don't delete the ones you see there. Just create as many, just few at least just for you to practice. You can also use the one that is there in existence. So I mean, like I said, it's free for you to practice with it. So you see when I tell people, please do and practice. It's going to help everyone. It's going to help every one of you. So that being said, so now we are going to share mailbox. Share mailbox is a property. Anything emails, mailbox is a properties of Exchange. So we are going gradually to Exchange. Now on share mailbox, this is where, if you look at here, these don't have license. They don't need to have license. Let me put it this way correctly. A share mailbox doesn't need a license, but you can create a line, you can create it, and then you can have access from the share mailbox, right? This is a share mailboxes. So test one, test two, and then if you create let's say somebody created a share mailbox. Let's just test 3, for instance. Test 3. Okay, there's no user on this. So we just created a test 3. Now, this test 3 account can receive emails, can also send email, depending of who is using it. Now, if I want, now you said that the share mailbox is majorly for things like, I'm sure you must have had something like called info at so. Most cases, it is a mailbox that is shared by several people. That's why it's called share mailbox. So how do you understand that? Now, this share mailbox will receive members that can use this mailbox. Let's say, for instance, my own account has what's it called? My own account has a license, but you can use any of these members that have license. So let's say we want to share this mailbox, and then I'm going to use my own account. In your own case, you can use account of some other people, because your own personal mailbox your own personal account doesn't have a mailbox, so you can use others. So let's say I'm going to use my own account which has a license. I'm going to click on this. I'm going to click at Delivance. I'm going to click all these are T accounts because they have license. So I already given you their this thing, their what's it called? It's just for you to check the mails. All this account doesn't mean that they have privilege that you have, but it's just for you to check the mail. So you can always sign in with their account and with with this provided for you, which I'm going to take a look at now, and then I add to it. So I could provide an access here for this particular test 3 accounts, which we are going to take a look at now. So all these people already have access to it. Now, also, we are going to have that same test 3 account. Remember that it has almost about 3 aspects of it. You could see that it has read and manage permission. Now, then you can also send as per permission. You can also do send on behalf. I'm going to explain this 3. Read and manage permission means that's a full access on this mailbox. You can delete, you can see the mailboxes there. Now, send as permission is if you can be able to send using this mailbox. Now, you could see that all the people I added from initially, they can add and they can send. They can read information there, they can delete, they can do that. But if I don't put send permission, they won't be able to send. If I click on this one, all these three people, they can send. And then this one is called send on behalf. Basically, what that means is the users, when they receive it, they'll be able to say, oh, you're actually sending on behalf of this mailbox. You are sending on behalf of it. However, if I use this one to send email, they are not going to see that I'm sending on behalf of. They will think I am the owner of this mailbox. Do you understand? They will think, oh, test 3 is one sending me email. Meanwhile, my own email account that I have access is just my own username. But the person will receive it and say, but if I send this one, the person will say, oh, Ajay is sending on behalf of test 3. Does that make sense? So that's the difference. So just for you to have the understanding of these two. So that's the share mailbox. So I also want you to be able to create a share mailbox and send. So let's quickly test our accounts. Let's quickly test our accounts. So in your own case, what you would do is just sign with one of them. In this case now, I may have to sign out my account and then maybe try to sign it with Adele. But in that case, you need also to be able to, when you're signing with Adele, you also know that you have to add Adele as your on your what's it called, on your MySQL authentication app, because you remember that when you are signing with one account, with your own personal account, you have to prompt you for you to sign. So I'm using Adele as an example. So first I'll use my own account. Then I will now use Adele as an example because I already use my own account. I have access, privileged admin access on this one. But I'm going to come over again and say, now because we are using the incognito, I want us to use just OWA. That means you don't need to have what's it called? You don't need to have Outlook. I'm in my environment here. You see, I'm in my office environment here. Now, on my own same environment here, if I go to just say I want to check my email over the web, if you could see, I can check my own personal email over the web. Can you see there? So I'm going to just copy this, then I'll just show you. Now, if I put it this one, I'm going to see because my environment automatically, you see the same thing I'm seeing here, the same thing you are seeing on the Outlook. We're going to talk about that later. This is my own Outlook. This is my Outlook. Can you see? And I'm seeing the same thing that I'm seeing here. Now, the only thing that interface is different. One I'm seeing over the internet, and then the other one I'm seeing this. Now, if I'm going to use the incognito, the flat parts that I told you, now these are two different, another tenants. That's why I use incognito. And I want to see email here. By default, because I already signed in with this, it will bring this in here. And then I can sign in with another account, right? But let's just say I want to use this one first. So now it brought me all my emails, right? This is a different account. This is a different tenant now. Now, all I need to do is that if I want to check my email, I want to check emails of another account that doesn't belong to me. I will just do like this, open another mailbox. Open another mailbox. But I want to check Adele. So I'll just to Adele. I want to use Adele. I think I have a this on Adele. Now, if I want to check another one, remember that I've been granted access to I want to grant access to test 2, right? Is it test 3 or test 2? Test 3. Test 3, right? I think test 3. Test 3. So I created test 3 and I granted a delay and this under test 3. Let's check it. Under test 3, right? The account I want to have access to is this one, which is a share mailbox. Remember that this test 3 account doesn't have a license. It's a share mailbox. Now, I could just I have test 3. So it's going to open, even though it doesn't have a license, it will now is pure, it's brand new. Now, if I want to send email here, I'm going to be sending email like I'm sending email to an email account. So if I'm going to be sending email, so I could just say, let's say, okay, so I'm going to be sending, you see what I talked to you the last time, because this account has been there. So it prompts you automatically as a contact, So that account is a test testing share mailbox. Okay, so test. I'm going to copy another let's say a delay. So we're sending to a delay, we're sending to external user and internal user, and then we have that. So it's gone, and then email will show that it's been sent. So now first thing I want you to note here is that if you go to test 3, except we license that test 3, if you go to test 3, you will see because we just created this test 3. If you go to test 3, if you go to under accounts, under users, active users, I think somebody created some test account, right? Now the person didn't create test 3, only creates user 3. Now this is test 3. Do you see that test 3 doesn't have a license? Test 3 doesn't have a license, so but it has a mailbox. So that's the difference between when you are creating the share mailbox. It doesn't have a license, but it has a mailbox. You see that the mailbox, it doesn't have a license, but it has a mailbox already, even though it doesn't have a license. So just the difference between what we are creating. All right, so I'm going to leave it as it is. I think we've covered a lot, right? We've been able to do say for practice sending, practice mailbox delegation, we created share mailboxes, we assign roles, and then groups. Did we create groups? No, I didn't create group, but I asked you guys to create groups. Yes, tomorrow we're going to create resource mailbox. Resource mailbox is not even that much. I can just create it now. So part of what you are going to be, I'll be looking for is to get me, if you're able to, I'm going to be asking these questions, if you're able to create all these ones, and then we can go from there. So we have, this is the resource mailbox. So we have created that. We're going to practice, we're going to check this account now. So the resource mailbox is just here. Resource mailbox, room and equipment. Now, just take an example of when you are in an organization and they want to have, let's say this organization has several, let's say about 5 cars, and you have about 100 people. And then let's say this organization has about, let's say about 2 rooms for demo. And then you have about, let's say you have about 20 marketers. And then you have 2 rooms, or maybe 5, or let's just say 3 rooms, and you have about 20 marketers that want to present at different time, and they have about 3 projectors at the same time. So how do you manage it? So, and everybody wants to have a time, a date, and all that. So that's why we call about rooms and equipment mailbox. So basically what that means is that helps you to track when somebody will need it, when the other person will need it. So if I know that I'm going to be needing a car, this car availability will be available. Oh, it's going to be available on the 17th. And because we are going to pick up the director going to the airport at the time. So we will book the car. So, Lexus car, this car, you book it and said, we are taking this also at that time. So you will send email, they would have created those resources and they will send email, and then it will be auto accepted depending on how it's been configured. And then what happen? Once that is done, is stored into the system. So if another person wants to use the same day or the same time, what do you think will happen? Say, no, this place has been reserved. The same way, if you have about 3 rooms, like I mentioned, you make sure that if one room is not enough, maybe this room has about 20 capacity, the other room has 50 capacity, you'll be able to book that room. That way, another person will not use it within an organization. So you need to have understanding on all that. So please remind me tomorrow. It's pretty much easy. We have both equipment or room. Equipment could be your car, could be your projector, and then we also have room there that can be associated with the equipment as well. And then again, they will also have its own mailbox. How many capacity do you want to have? Location of this thing. It's as simple as that. So you can go ahead and create. You can go ahead and create a resource. After you create it, we still have to configure it. Take for instance, if I'm going to be creating a room, I said, okay, room 103, and I come over here, room 103, and this room 103 has about 500 capacity, and then I want this location to be in UK, and then of course I could put this one and I just save. So after saving it, automatically create it and create a mailbox with it, right? Automatically to create the room and create a mailbox. Oh, refreshing, there's a problem. Oh, okay, say a few minutes. Refreshing the page. Okay. I guess it's already created it. So we have, and then we now open it. You see here, then there is an exchange setting, there's email, capacity, phone number, delegate. Will now be how many you want it to be managed by somebody, and all that will be coming into the environment. So that's how it works. So as to this part, like I said, I've sent this. Let me see if I see an email coming through to my accounts. Yeah, so you could see here, emails coming to my accounts, and that's it. Who is doing that on my screen? So that is so I'm going to stop here. So you could see test, emails was sent from this, and then it was sent to this and was copied to Adelia at the same time. So you could see that. Tomorrow, we'll go from there. So quick questions. I'm going to stop sharing. So, all right. I believe you guys have been taken through some. I know some people you can always find out to talk with roundups. Yeah. So sorry. I took a little bit, more than the time, but let's take a look at it because I needed you guys to start working on whatever you're working on, create all those mailboxes. That is the only thing that is going to give you value, for you to be employed. You have to be practical about it. You have to do something more practical. You can't get jobs outside the country or for you to be earning more that service. Yes. So if you have any question, please raise up your hands and let's hear you. Questions before we go. Any question? Any question? Any question? Any question? All right, Miriam, you can unmute yourself and let's hear you.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, my question is, I don't know, can we like postpone tomorrow's class?
Yeah, so I think Why do you want us to postpone tomorrow's class?
With all these assignments you've given us, we still need time to
Okay.
learn uh the whole application. For someone like me, this is my first class, so I still have a lot to do. And I'm a student. I school during the weekend, so it's going to be choked for me.
Okay. So, I mean, I'm going to give time, to be frank. I'm going to give some time. But what I would do is that just watch the video, watch the past one, and because you're coming for the first time, take time during the week to really dig in, watch the video again because it's going to be on YouTube. Like the page so that whatever prompt that comes to you, you keep getting it, and then watch it and still do your assignment. Now, so it also depends on whatever every other person says. If you are going to have, we could have all of them, pile up to next week. If they want us to take a look at it today, that's fine. Otherwise, if after the pool, I don't know when they're going to do the pool. If they do the pool and then they feel that we should have it, I'm fine tomorrow. But again, because you are just coming, I trust me, you are going to make it. But do you have your account? Do you have account you are going to practice with?
No, I don't, but I will get that tonight
Oh,
rather.
yes, please do
I
do
will.
and then reach out to this in so that it's going to help you. All right. Thanks so much. I think we don't have much people to ask questions. Yeah. All right. Let's talk later today. I mean,
Bye.
tomorrow or next or whenever we are meeting. Thank
Okay.
you. Thanks,
Hello,
everyone.
hello, sir.
Yes. Yellow.
Yeah, good evening. Sorry to interrupt you. Thank you for the class. I need to ask a brief question. I want to ask, the account, because this is my first time of joining this class, and the account you were saying, is it that are we going to create a Microsoft account to get um um to be able
So
to create users and the rest, or is
yes.
there like
So
a already made account that we can log into? Because I noticed that I saw I saw other users and everything created on
yes.
one major
Yes,
account.
other users already, we are using just one tenant. So where we all practice it, everybody can practice with that same account, with that same tenant. So basically what you need to do is just to reach out to the program director and then it will tell you what to do. Basically, they ask people to pay token of 10,000 or so. That helps them to provide you because we don't can't just give everybody access, like that. So the program as the training and everything is free. We just want to expose people, especially people from African. But the more thing we are trying to do here is to make sure that it has a control. People who have a hold that okay, they are really want to really study and that's why they are. I think the program manager has said if you are going to go, you may not be able to get that same account. Maybe you want to have your own personal account. Apart from the fact the money that will be involved, because a lot of people are in Nigeria, and then they may not. Microsoft doesn't give that kind of account to people. So, but with this, you have everything you need. You can practice with it. You can do whatever you want to do with it. So, it's that what I say that it's more like we are not collecting anything from anybody because if you see what is going to be putting in terms of the training and all that is actually free. So the account is just for your, and then whatever you are paying to is for your certificate as well. So that's why it's just a way of controlling people who really want to actually get into work, who want to do this, and then as well we don't want people to abuse it. So it's important that we all get it. So I think that's why the program director said, it's majorly for in 90%, the 5% is what you're going to just do on your own part. So I think it's 10,000. Make the announcement on the listing for those who need accounts. It's very important. Without that account, you can't get, you can't be able to practice and know what needs to be done. Very important. Very important. Okay, so I'm going to be dropping because the time is fast spent, and then so I'll get a feedback. I will get back, tomorrow, to know where we go from there. Thank you so much. Thanks, everyone.